Good afternoon and welcome to the Memorial Field in Concord, New Hampshire for a special presentation of WMUR Sports live from Concord, the boys Class M Soccer Championship. Today it's the Guilford Golden Eagles against the Fall Mountain Wildcats. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Maxson, and joining me in the booth today is Franklin Pierce, Associate Coach for the men's and women's programs there, John Mitchell. Good afternoon, John.
Thank you, Bob. Bob, we're here today for the rematch, or Hollywood terms, the sequel, the son of, the return of. We'll see if this script is as good as last year's, which ended in a penalty kick competition after overtime and regulation play.
It should be a great matchup, the Battle of Class M for this afternoon. And joining us field side, standing out in this rather dismal weather, is Patrick Little of WMUR Sports. Patrick?
Thank you very much, guys. It's not as bad as it looks. A little chilly, but I can handle it. Over here on the Fall Mountain side, this whole big championship run of 7 years, they're not thinking about it. They're going to play their style, go ahead and do what they have to do to win this. Obviously, a big key for them is Chris Ahern. He's got to score some goals like he's been doing all year. Over here on Guilford's side, well, first of all, let's talk about these hairdos. Tradition on Sundays, they shave their heads. Championships has worked for 7 years. They're going to stop Ahern. Coach Mitchell, they're going to have a chaotic defense going on here. You're going to have to keep an eye on it for us. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. That's right, Coach. An interesting defensive ploy will be set up by Guilford in order to try to stop the prolific score for Fall Mountain, Chris Ahern.
We'll have to see what Dave Pickham's going to come up with. I think, Bob, next year, before next year's broadcast, let's get our heads shaven also.
That's right. I think we should, John. We'll be back, folks, with the beginning and the player introductions of this Class M Boys Soccer Championship. We'll be right back. Today's game is brought to you in part by Fairmonte Olds Cadillac and Fairmonte Olds Saab, Matthew Thornton Health Plan, your area New England Pontiac dealers, and Meredith Brick Manor.
Hi, I'm Tracy Banks from Banks Chevrolet Cadillac Geo in Concord. If you're looking for a new vehicle, come into Banks and check out our full line of Geos. Right now, we have a great selection in all the hot new colors and the most desired options, like the Geo Metro, one of the most fuel-efficient cars in America, and the Geo Prism with its contemporary styling. If you'd like a sporty utility vehicle, the Geo Tracker is sure to fit your lifestyle. So get to know Geo and get to know why more people choose Banks. Banks Chevrolet Cadillac Geo, the best there is, you can bank on it.
Annie, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
I've got to finish this.
Running your own small business is never easy.
Debbie and I are swamped.
You could have worse problems than being busy.
Well, Debbie had some news today. She's going to have a baby.
That's great.
Well, I guess I'm happy for her.
Now there's a plan that can help you solve the health insurance problems of your growing business. It's now the plan of choice.
A baby.
Health Source. We have plans for your small business.
What company has grown 340% in the last 10 years? Hammer Industrial Supply, by offering quality industrial products by some of the industry's most respected names. Delta, Lennox, Milwaukee, Senco. Success built on a solid reputation. Hammer Industrial Supply, located at 175 Amherst Street in Nashua, New Hampshire.
If you're still up in the air about which new car to buy, consider this. The price of a Pontiac Grand Am and a Honda Accord start out at about the same level. But while options like air, automatic, and anti-lock brakes don't raise the Grand Am's price, they put the Accord's price right through the roof. Now, on a 3-year lease, a new 95 air-conditioned Grand Am sedan with V6 power, automatic, and more. Just $213 a month and $1,000 down. See your New England Pontiac dealer today.
Welcome back to Memorial Field in Concord, New Hampshire, the site of the Class M Boys Soccer Championship. In just a couple of moments, we're going to get the player introductions for the starting lineups. But I guess the obvious thing here, John, is the weather. It's cold and extremely damp with a steady rain falling. How do you think this may affect today's match? I
think the players that they're going to have the most effect on, of course, is the goalkeepers. They're the ones out there using their hands to make sure they get their whole body behind it. Likewise with the field players. Every tackle, every block, you have to make sure you get your whole body behind every stoppage.
Guilford's a highly skilled team with the foot skills well remarked for their 7 straight state championships. A very skilled team. Will the wet conditions hamper that?
I think actually wet conditions helps the offense because they're the ones who know what they're going to do. So I think both teams, both Fall Mountain and Guilford, defensively, that's where the problems are going to be because The forward with the ball knows where he's going to go. The defender has to make that decision. A little slip or a little slide, and the forward's value.
Very good point, John. At this point, let's go down to the field and find Patrick Little for the player introductions in this Class M Boys Soccer Championship.
All right, we're going to send it up to the PA announcer. We're going to hear today's
Good
starting
afternoon,
lineup.
everybody. Welcome to Concord's Memorial Field. And welcome to the championship game of the 1994 New Hampshire State Boys Class M Soccer Tournament. The NHIAA Soccer Committee and the staff here at Memorial Field extend a warm welcome to everybody involved in this state title game. And we extend a special welcome to Channel 9 out of Manchester, who is telecasting today's championship live across the entire state this afternoon. Starting way back in the hot days of summer, our student athletes out here in the field for today's game have put in a great many hours of hard work and sacrifice to put together outstanding seasons that have brought honor and pride to their respective communities, and today they lead their schools into today's state finals game. Ladies and gentlemen, in the warm New Hampshire tradition that makes our state the greatest, we ask the fans of both schools to join forces and officially welcome these kids to their state championship game. At this time, we direct your attention to the center of the field so that you can meet our champion players personally. The visiting team in maroon uniforms enters this state title game ranked number 2 with a record of 17-1-0. Their second straight appearance in the finals. From the Langdon, Alsted, Walpole, Charlestown area of New Hampshire, please welcome back to Memorial Field the Wildcats of Fall Mountain Regional High School. And now let's meet the Wildcats personally. Senior halfback number 3, Jack Hodgkins. Junior forward number 5, Carl Stone. Senior fullback number 8, Gabe Vos. Senior fullback number 9, Kane Gorton. Sophomore halfback number 11, Chad Fillion. Junior halfback number 13, Harley Baker. Sophomore fullback number 14, Jesse Robinson. Sophomore halfback number 15, Perry Albert. Sophomore fullback number 16, Josh Adams. Ninth grade fullback number 18, Blake Brunel. Senior forward number 19, George Ramsey. Sophomore fullback number 21, Brian Sheppa. Backup goaltender, sophomore George Sitsonis. Assistant coach Tim St. Pierre. And now the starting lineup for Fall Mountain for this state title game. A senior halfback wearing number 2, Scott Bingham. Sophomore halfback wearing number 4, Dan Stevens. Senior halfback wearing number 6, E.J. Adams. Senior fullback wearing number 7, Eric Westberg. Sophomore sweep wearing number 10, Jesse Beer. Senior forward wearing number 12, Chris Ahern. Senior fullback wearing number 17, Josh Beer. Sophomore halfback wearing number 20, Abe Gates. Senior full wearing number 22, Chris Hurlbert. Junior fullback wearing number 23, Nate Smith. And the Wildcat goaltender, a senior, Charlie Bailey. Fall Mountain is coached by Mr. Jim Brunel. The home team here this afternoon is making a record 12th consecutive appearance in the finals. Seeded number 1 again with a record of 16-0-1. From the Lakes region area, please welcome the 8-time defending state champions, the Golden Eagles of Guilford Middle High School. And now let's meet the Guilford players personally. Senior backup goaltender Joe Keneally. Junior forward, number 4, Ryan Fisher. Sophomore midfield, wearing number 6, David Horvath. Junior midfield, wearing number 7, Eric Carone. Freshman fullback, wearing number 9, Ryan Perrell. Junior fullback, wearing number 11, Ryan Hudson. Junior forward, wearing number 12, Curtis Sleeper. Junior fullback, wearing number 14, Paul Fowler. Freshman forward, wearing number 15, Matt Dutremble. Senior midfield, wearing number 16, Shane Truax. Senior fullback, wearing number 17, Ben Ayers. Junior midfield, wearing number 25, Adam Engel. Senior forward, wearing number 23, Jeff Sanborn. Backup goaltender, Jake Drown. Assistant coach, Otis Worth. And now the Golden Eagle starting lineup. Sophomore midfield, wearing number 2, Andrew Sassati. Junior fullback, wearing number 10, Mike Susi. Junior midfield, wearing number 13, Sean Reynolds. Senior fullback, wearing number 18, David Northup. Junior forward, wearing number 19, Chris Keenan. Junior fullback, wearing number 20, Dan Gill. Senior forward, wearing number 21, Kevin Rankins. Junior fullback, wearing number 22, Zach Derbyshire. Senior midfield, wearing number 24, Dan Dubois. Senior midfield, wearing number 26, Thomas Moore. And the Eagle starting goaltender, a sophomore, Chris Collette. Guilford is coached by Mr. Dave Pinkham. The officials for this afternoon's state championship game from Groveton, Mr. Larry Frizzle, and from Waterville Valley, Mr. Tom Hoyt.
There you have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and honor America for our state title game with the playing of our national anthem.
Our national anthem for today's Class M Boys Soccer Championship. John, let me ask you something about the keys for Fall Mountain to be victorious. What is Jim Burnell looking for his team to do today?
Bob, I would think that first of all, Fall Mountain has to keep the ball on the ground. Guilford has just too much height at midfield. Fall Mountain also has to get the ball to Ahern. Likewise, the third key point is they have to make sure that all 11 players are involved. I thought in the first half against Cobrown the other evening, all the other 10 players were not involved. As far as Guilford goes, they have to set the tempo of the match early. They let Hinsdale dictate the first half to them, and that's why they were behind 1-0. They have to jumpstart. They have to activate their offense, and their defense, which looked shaky the other night, has to solidify.
All right, very good. The keys to victory for both teams. Now, it's been not an easy road to the finals, but teams have been tested here in the Class M pairings as they made their way to this Sunday's championship game. First and foremost, the Guilford, the road to the finals, went like this. First of all, a 3-0 victory over Epping in the first round.
Then a somewhat surprising 1-0 win over Interlakes. I think most people would have picked that game to be much more high-scoring than a 1-0 contest.
And this past Thursday night here at Memorial Field, they came back from a 1-0 deficit against Hinsdale and defeated Hinsdale 2-1 with 2 second-half goals. On the flip side, Fall Mountain's tour of duty to get to the finals.
Fall Mountain started off with a 4-0 win over Newmarket.
And also a 4-0 win over Pelham.
And likewise, another high-scoring affair in the semifinals here Thursday, 3-0, all 3 goals coming in the second half.
That's right. Fall Mountain yet to give up a goal here in the Class M Championships. We are underway here at Memorial Field. A steady rain falling on a cold, damp day into the Fall Mountain attacking early against Guilford. We have a loose ball in the middle and a shot over the goal. Number 12, Ahern quickly getting started here for Fall Mountain.
Chris Ahern looking to assert himself. I think he's saying to himself, I'd like to have that one back. He didn't have his whole body over the shot. That's why it was high over the goal.
Has some early game jitters there. It's early here in the championship. A little nervousness. Had one teed up there from about 16 yards away. Came up empty by taking that shot out over the goal. The throw will go Fall Mountain's direction. Nate Smith taking the throw in up the sideline against Guilford. Guilford now breaking out. A ball to the corner.
Both teams, Bob, are starting off at a very fast pace. I think we'll see after about 10 minutes both teams settling the ball down, working the ball around, getting everybody involved.
That was Rankins making the run, and this is number 24, Dan DuBois, for Guilford, taking that throw in into the middle. A lot of times with those throw-ins down in the offensive zone, you'll try to send it into the penalty area and try to create some havoc in there and come up with a goal. No problem there for Collette. He comes off as a sophomore netminder in a final. Interesting, a young man in his Class M championship.
6 feet plus, good size, seemed quite comfortable in goal Thursday night.
Even under the pressure that Hinsdale did put on him. And a solid punt there, well past the midfield, too. That can create problems for a defense as well. CSD working the ball to...
That was Chris Keenan passing the ball off to DuBois. We have a whistle.
A foul?
Some sort of a foul. Didn't get the indication from the official, but Fall Mountain will be starting it off about 35 yards out from its goal.
It looks to be early in the game here that number 12, Chris Ahern, will be marked by a variety of Guilford defensemen. We'll have to watch that carefully over the next couple minutes and see who's going to take the duty here early in the game. Early on, it looks like Mike Susi is following around Ahern pretty closely, John.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to pick him up. As soon as he's in the attacking third, they're going to pick him up. They're not playing him full man-to-man, full field.
DuBois with the ball up the right side for Guilford. Susi in the midfield is pushed by number 2, Scott Bingham of Fall Mountain. So now Guilford attacking right to left in the blue, or the white uniforms, the blue shorts. Ball's out of bounds off the Fall Mountain midfielder E.J. Adams. It'll be Guilford throwing in from right to left.
Bob, with all these throw-ins early in the game, I think what we're seeing is just the nervousness of both teams. Neither team has really settled down and tried to set any sort of a tempo to this game.
Early on, we should also note that the field here at Memorial Field is crowned slightly, used primarily for football. It is crowned, so the runoff of the rain, that's a positive, but for soccer, it's rather a negative because the ball will tend to roll toward the out of bounds when it's played up to the corners.
Another negative about this field, it's a very narrow field. I paced it off prior to the start of the contest. It's about 68 yards. Most teams would prefer to go 70 to 75 on the width.
Neither team really getting set into a tempo or any organized attack right now. You see a lot of play in the midfield, a lot of flying headers, a lot of balls just kicked instead of Guilford, known to set up a patient offensive attack throughout its season. Of course, Guilford does come in at 16-0 with 1 tie. Another solid season is, of course, today they do go for their 7th straight state championship. Here's a ball into the middle. Attacking down the right side is Fall Mountain. The ball go out of bounds. It'll be a Fall Mountain throw-in with number 23, Nate Smith, coming up to take that throw. And let's see if Smith has a long throw. No, instead he plays it down short to Scott Bingham, who turns and sends one into the area, but no problem for Collette. Collette didn't really get his body behind that, though. He almost kind of caught it off to the side.
That's very dangerous technique for a goalkeeper in this type of wet conditions.
He wants to get himself set and right behind that ball.
That ball was somewhat similar to the ball that Hinsdale scored on an Aaron Kirby's high lofted ball that Collette lost in the first half.
Guilford defense takes that one away.
Now, Bob, going back to the marking on Chris Ahern, I'm watching that marking. If he's being picked up, they're picking him up quite loosely.
Okay. Right now, let's join Patrick Little. Patrick, what do you have for us?
All right, I'm standing here with Chris Collette's father, Dad, I suppose. He's only a sophomore. How do you feel about this?
I tell you, I'm thrilled. He's just having the time of his life out there.
He's had a great season so far. He's really pumped up for this game, I imagine.
Oh, I definitely so. I mean, all the boys together, they've been really pushing for this one. This is what they want, and this is what they're going after. They want it.
All right, look for Fall Mountain. Put a lot of pressure on the young kid. Back to you guys up top.
Patrick, why didn't Chris shave his head like the rest of the team?
He did. It's just wet.
Thank you very much, Patrick and Mr. Collette. Guilford trying to get an attack down now the right side. Sean Reynolds working the ball to Rankins. Rankins is turned away by goaltender Charles Bailey, very confident senior goaltender for Fall Mountain.
Bailey, who had 20 shutouts on his career, is the leading goalkeeper career-wise at Fall Mountain.
Siesti works the ball to the corner, finds number 21. Rankins again making a run, but the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Siesti. Cesati.
On Thursday evening, they were using number 13 for Fall Mountain. Sean Reynolds taking the throw. They've changed it about this afternoon with Thomas Moore taking the throws.
Moore throws it into the area. Several Fall Mountain defenders back protecting the goal. We have 33-25 left in first half action of the Class M Boys Soccer Championship. Right now, Guilford on the attack with number 24. Once again, number 24 is Dan Du Bois with the throw-in into the area. Taken out by the Fall Mountain defender. The ball is returned in, though. Almost like the Guilford players were offsides there. But
well, actually what was happening, Fall Mountain was trying to pull an offside trap. They got caught on that, and Guilford had a potentially dangerous scoring opportunity.
Just under 33 minutes left in the first half. At this point, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back with more soccer action in just a moment.
If you won Tri-State Megabucks, you could afford to have your children taught equitation at a cost of nearly $17,000 per year, horse not included. Or you could have them taught proper grace and etiquette at charm school for about $5,000 per year. Or you could do what Bertha Aruda did when she won. She split the jackpot among her 3 children, thereby teaching them something they might not learn anywhere: generosity. You can bet her kids also learn division. Tri-State Megabucks. Play this week and just imagine.
We're back with Fall Mountain now with a indirect kick from about 25 yards. Eric Westberg standing over the ball. Passes on to number 17. The shot just wide. Just wide. An excellent opportunity there for
Josh Beer, the senior sweeper, who has also played as forward. Nice restart play with Weisberg pushing the ball wide and Beer getting that shot that went just a little bit to the left of the far goal post.
I believe we have an instant replay on that Fall Mountain opportunity. Josh Beer with a great left foot. We'll show you that in just one moment. Fall Mountain continue on the attack with Ahern in the on the attack mode here, working against number 10, Mike Susi, as we thought. Susi is picking him up, but as you mentioned, John, relatively lightly. So let's watch his 12 now. He's running toward the 18-yard line. And he'll be the one you'll want to key on all afternoon, folks. Here's a throw-in in his direction as well. All right, here's that indirect kick that we just had moments ago with the play out. Westberg with the great feed to Bear. Look how just wide. And it went through some feet there, too. That could have been a deflection.
That's a dangerous part in those type of plays. Where a foot gets on it or a hip gets on it, and it can just divert and throw the goalkeeper off.
I think one thing's for sure so far, Fall Mountain comes in here. You've got to remember that they are a team that won 16 matches this year to 1 loss. They're not in awe at all of Guilford's record or their history.
I think the fact that the two teams played last year, there's also certainly a revenge factor that has to come into play for Fall Mountain.
Yeah, they're playing very spirited ball so far, and that's the best scoring opportunity we've seen, that Beer direct kick off the fine feed from Westbrook.
We talked about the key points for Fall Mountain was to keep the ball on the ground. We've seen that when the ball has been in the air, it's been primarily the Guilford players who've been winning it using their height. I still think that Fall Mountain has to work the ball wide away from the center of Guilford's defense and then pull the ball back in the attacking third.
Charlie Bailey with the goal kick, and now Guilford taking control in the midfield section. Tom Moore with an offensive attack for the Golden Eagles of Guilford. The ball will go out of bounds. It'll be a Guilford throw-in. Back the other way with right midfield Sean Reynolds taking the throw-in. Fall Mountain working their way out now through the midfield, but it's intercepted as it looks to be Dan Du Bois working in the midfield. Some good one-touch passing or two-touch passing here by the Golden Eagles and a shot. It'll go harmlessly wide right.
That was Chris Keenan, the junior forward for Guilford, taking that shot, also shaking his head afterwards, knowing he didn't get a good foot behind it. What we're seeing, Bob, so far is all the play basically is going from goal mouth to goal mouth. They're not really utilizing what width of the field there is here.
You know Chris Keenan from previous coaching, and he's quite a player.
I had an opportunity to coach Chris this summer on a high school tour of England and Wales, and I think he has the potential to be a very good player.
Certainly created a good opportunity, showed a good head there. He didn't get excited. He had created some space and got a shot off. He just happened to hit that one. Guilford continuing on the attack. Siesti will take the throw in here. Cesati. I want to make sure I pronounce his name
We
correct.
knew we were going to have trouble with that name. We were talking about it. Andrew, we apologize on that situation. We'll get it right before the broadcast is over here.
Dan Gill tracks down the clearing ball and sends it up the right side. Fall Mountain counters, though. A lot of space down the right side. Almost some a little kick and chase going on here as the teams try to create a tempo here.
This really isn't typical for either team's style of play. I think what we're seeing here is championship finals nerves, and I'm sure eventually both teams will settle down and play the style that both teams are capable of playing.
Colette's punt goes harmlessly out of bounds, and Fall Mountain now try to create an attack. Let's keep an eye on number 12, Ahern, with the ball at his feet at this moment. And Susi working hard, wins that 50-50 ball.
Now, that kick you just saw from Susi, I am sure that Coach Dave Pinkham from Guilford was not pleased with it. You want to win the ball, but you just don't want to kick it away. You want to win it and do something creative with it. Pass it to a teammate and generate the offense that way.
Good news is the steady rains that were falling during the opening of today's match have now led up to a drizzle. I guess scientifically and professionally speaking, it's tapered off for now, John.
Spoken like an expert, Bob.
Here's a centering ball to the dangerous Bear, but it is cleared away. Once again, Susi winning that ball.